As a kid, what did you think was a very normal thing to do, which it really wasn't? Having a path through the house surrounded by boxes and junk stacked to the ceiling. I grew up in a hoarder house. Occasionally us kids would run too fast through the path, knocking into the sides, and the boxes and stuff would collapse on top of us. I smiled with my lips on the inside of my mouth. I don't know how I managed to not learn how to smile properly, but I thought I was smiling normally until a kid said, "Stop smiling like that, you look weird," and I spent a good week looking up pictures of smiles and practicing how to smile. When you went to the sitter every day, you were to sit on the couch and never move. Seriously, my brothers, sister and I were forced to sit on the couch with the TV on at the sitter's house, while her kids ran around like a bunch of hellions. When we got a new sitter after moving, all four of us promptly sat on the couch and stayed there. Our new sitter pulled a bunch of toys out and sat in the floor and played with us. Not telling your family when or where you were going or what you were up to or how long you would be gone. I remember as early as 6 I was wandering off to another neighborhood and across a busy road to find playmates. As I got older, I would go to friends' houses for days on end, still never needing to check with anyone or let anyone know at home I was going. It didn't really click until I got my first roommate after college who bugged out and was about to call the cops because I went to my boyfriend's house, turned my phone off and took a long nap in the middle of the day as he worked nights. We had an argument where I kept saying, "I'm an adult, you don't need to keep track of me," and it took a while for me to understand that even adults check in with each other for safety and they don't normally just disappear for a few days. Wash my 2 pairs of pants and 2 sweaters every few days, because they were the only clothes my parent had bought me for school. Eating canned button mushrooms for lunch because there was nothing else to eat in the house. Not for a lack of parental funds. Didn't realize other kids didn't live like this until I hit 13-ish. Biting my washcloth in the bath. Having camping nights. Mom would light candles and make dinner with camping gear. She and I would play games until my bedtime, huddled up in the living room. It was because she was crazy poor when she divorced my dad, and a few times she couldn't pay the electricity on time. I thought it was fun. Collecting roadkill and utilizing insects to clean the bones so I could collect them. Jeff Dahmer over here. I was trained by my father to believe that a proper salami sandwich has 15 to 20 pieces of salami on it. Imagine my aunt's horror when I did that at her house, while she was putting 4 to 5 pieces on the sandwiches she was making for my cousins. The story lives on till this day, like 30 years later, no regrets. Whispering what I just said back to myself. Apparently I did it all the time as a kid and never noticed until a couple of friends pointed it out to me. I would be like, "Let's play Barbies," and then quietly, "Let's play Barbies." I have no idea what that was about. Edited to add, thank you for the silver. Opposite, but I had a neighbor who had extremely, and I mean extremely, strict parents. We were invited to a sleepover of about 5 or 6 girls at one of the other neighbor kids' place, and she was shocked to see that we had candy and popcorn and soda/pop to eat at our disposal after 6 p.m. She had no idea. To us, it was normal sleepover snacks, but to her it was like looking at Willy Wonka himself. Crazy. Have speed up spells where it feels like I just got off a treadmill and my internal monologue is yelling. Turns out I have epilepsy and was having seizures. Didn't realize back when I was like 7, but presented with tonic-clonics, grand mal, at 15. Or listen to the air vent and hear music in white noise. This was likely auditory hallucinations, also due to epilepsy. Stupid brain. My family are not comfortable around each other. Never any touching, kissing, or cuddling. Any physical contact is forced and horribly awkward. No one also talks, and any disagreements simmer for years with a grudging resentment. When I first started dating my now husband, I was shocked his family would just sit close to each other, like their legs would touch on the couch. Like not overly touchy, just normal, but not normal to me. They also spoke to each other if they were upset. I was quite envious. Trusting everything people say to me. This is an underrated comment. For some reason I think I was born an idealist or something. I was told as a kid that lying is wrong, because I clearly and intentionally lied once, and that we should always tell the truth. So I just thought that everyone told the truth, and if someone lied, their feelings would be hurt immediately, as if somehow the person knew right away. So I've always trusted others 100%. I've slowly gotten depressed because thinking everyone else is right makes everything I think wrong. And now I'm trying hard to learn to not trust others always. Sleeping in the display beds at the furniture store. My parents are divorced, and when we were little we'd go week to week at each parent's house. Well, my dad worked at Montgomery Wards and opened the store maybe 3 days a week. That meant he had to be there at 5 a.m. During his weeks, he'd stuff us in the car in our jammies, and drive us up to Monkey Wards, as he called it. Then we'd all get snug in our own display beds and sleep for another hour and a half. Once some other employees showed up and it got closer to school hours, he'd get us dressed in the dressing rooms and drive us to school. He really did love us. And tried hard for us. Apparently when I was a kid I used to pick up quarters on the street. My parents didn't want me doing that, so my dad told me to not pick up coins, because people put them in their butts. I didn't use change for anything until I started driving at 16. Sitting together at the table for meals, especially dinner. We frequently got McDonald's, had TV dinners, or had ramen/mac and cheese. I didn't know until I was an older teen that families actually sat down to talk to each other every day, because I thought that only happened in shows and movies. Sitting down at the table makes me uncomfortable, even to this day. Like, I don't even know how to prep the table. Jesus. I was going to say cutting pickle spears into little triangles to eat alongside your sandwich. This thread went in a way different direction. Building homes for snails and slugs when it rained. My older brother and I would love to go outside when it rained and collect slugs and snails to put in these little pebble shelters we'd make for them in the backyard. Using corn bags. They're cotton squares or rounds filled with dried corn. You put them in the microwave for a heating pad and the freezer for an ice pack. I still use and make them, I just didn't realize nobody else used them until like high school LMAO. My parents have what we now know was developmental disorders, but was previously known as being slow. Think it was 2nd grade when I started doing math for my parents. We went out for shopping or dinner, then I'd check the grocery receipt or tally the tip. In more ways than one I became very independent from my parents at a young age. I didn't realize until late high school, interacting with my boyfriend's family, that normal children don't speak to their parents like equals. It was awkward to say the least. It took many years to learn how to be respectful to your elders and not throw my weight around. I had thought every kid needed to keep their parents in line. Awkward. Shoveling food into your face as quickly as possible while huddled around the TV. It wasn't until a sleepover at a friend's house that I encountered a family sitting around a dinner table talking about their day. At the time it made me super uncomfortable, but I've learned to slow down and appreciate it more with time. I remember in year 8 in school we watched a video about mental health. One of the kids said that at a low point he considered suicide. I didn't think that was a big deal, because I thought about killing myself almost every day. I thought it was normal and everybody did it. Cracking open cans of beer and pouring them into styrofoam cups. So my parents could drink while they drove the car. Dying. Over the period of about a year when I was 9 to 10 years old, 4 different people on the street I lived on died unnatural deaths. The old lady next door electrocuted herself trimming the hedges. One of the neighbor kids I played with accidentally shot himself playing with his father's gun, in front of his sister. Another playmate's father was a cop and was shot and killed in the line of duty, and a 16-year-old girl was raped and murdered in her own house, never solved, even though everybody knew who did it. I also had a cousin I was close to die in a car accident, but he didn't live on the same street. So with all that I just assumed that was a normal rate of death. So naturally, I assumed that I was going to die at some point in the near future. Took a few years to get over that. I grew up on a farm outside a small town, didn't realize until I started going to school that running around naked outside often, playing with hatchets and pocket knives or breaking off pieces of salt lick to suck on, were not normal things. My parents fostered 2 young girls very close to my age. The things they expected from my parents/thought were normal were so sad. The eldest tried to undress for my dad. he was mortified. They thought they would get in trouble for using soap in the bath. They asked permission to get drinks of water, and to go to the bathroom. They were amazed we weren't locked in our rooms at night, amazed I had my own room and they had theirs. They didn't know what bed frames were.